very impressed with a few plays yesterday. I had basically 5 top plays, some diamond continuation plays, 3 fang plays, and then some runner-ups. Basically that stock picking, if you will, in a market that's going up isn't so hard sometimes, but the momentum ones are. So I try to be good at that. So yesterday, just to review, first thing coming in with the DKNG Illinois governor, said that looked bullish up into this trend line, and it exploded decent amount there, 9%. And from the open, it was only 35.88. So it hit a low of 35.5 and then went to 39. So that was a great one. I might have 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, but yesterday I had 5 out of 5. So that was pretty good numbers. Starbucks at the open set above 80 and it blew. And in fact, blew higher, obviously, 5%, great option trade. You can see from this percentage change was stupid high, a few thousand% on their report. But it was really interesting because I had really liked this the day before. So it pushed above the 200 and above this trend line on a weekly, right up into Bollinger and soon Keltner channel resistance. I'm going to be watching that because I like it a lot if it can get above. The second was GPS, third was GPS. I have liked obviously above this 14.5 for 2 solid weeks. Thought it was going to go there anyway. And it exploded and kept going up 10.5%. So that was an absolute gorgeous one. Similar follow through was BABA out of this wedge, gorgeous above 272, closed up 3.5%, great option trade. NEO above this wedge, $15 calls were in the gazillions. Actually, they gained. So the day before this print were 105,000 contracts. By the way, they clearly took those off. And then they added another 145,000. So in other words, this move to open interest was 10. I take that back. It was the $15 calls. Yeah, my bad. The $15 calls were 100,000 contracts. Remember, that was crazy. Yeah. Now they moved to the $17 calls. So that was a phenomenal trade. So honestly, that just surprised the heck out of me. All 5 of my top morning trades were huge. DKNG, SPUX, GPS, NEO, and BABA. I'm looking at my notes right now. And then my runner-ups throughout the day revisited Crowd, which again, trend line push. Not only did it tag the trend line from this 100 and then moved it up to 105 stop. Okay, here's your, but also SPWR, for which another trend line, and it pushed higher right into the Bollinger Band. Yesterday was 9%. So those were setting up. Those I've already recommended for a few weeks. GoGo also recommended a few weeks, took off, Hot Fire Flames. LB I've recommended for a while as it has continued this beautiful 45-degree angle. And SMAR I think is next to trigger. In fact, it did a little bit pre-market, but this Morningstar reversal is just doggone gorgeous. So those were, I'm missing one. But I am quite sure there was another one. We talked about RFP, VRCA, KMDA, which is rising again. This one I really like. Visa, Shack. Oh, Shack. I knew if I go through this list long enough, that was it. It was Shack. All right, so now I got that top 10 list, and I can go to August and see some of these because some of these I said are my top list for August, entered here on the 10th. I made this list, remember? GPS, SPWR, et cetera, et cetera. Bitcoin not doing so well. I just, TNX, because you know my thesis here that this is also going higher. Starbucks, gorgeous breakout, beautiful. That was it. Shaq, Baba. All right, so these are LB. Okay, so this is not news. There are some that have not triggered yet. INMD, GME still hasn't triggered. Nope, nope. Got to get above 518 and stick it. Stick the landing. These are fine. Continuation. SMAR looks ready to explode. LCA is continuation. Visa, that was a new one that I was liking, but that surprised me on Thursday last week, I will admit. Falso continuation. BMY is looking ready to launch. You know how I feel about banks. They are going to have their day. It's just not yet ready. Jets also going to have their day. Not yet ready. REM, REITs, in other words, REM, not ready yet. Merck is still pushing. LVS and WIN are same story of the REITs and the airlines and the financials. Oh my, casinos, things that are economically sensitive with COVID. Still like Faye, I have a whole bunch of like explosive stock list I'm also tracking, but for the most part, these are just sideways, but they're fine. 3M, Verizon. As the dollar heads higher, I said there'd be pressure on XME contingency, AA, US Steel, and FCX, although we had copper continue yesterday. Itself, the dollar rising is making it a little hard on FCX, but it's doing fine. It hasn't broken its trend. RCL as well had some bounce here, which was a big day, and then consolidation at the 200. I still think this has potential with GM. GE, no, I'm still not clear on this one for a while. We talked about LVS and WIN. So these are still hanging in there. I have MSTR actually under explosive growth category. I mean, yes, definitely like this one, but as a Bitcoin play too. Thank you, Craig, for turning me on to that one. I've done a lot of research on it. Since I'm curious what turned you on to it and your thesis as well, but definitely did a lot of research on the fundamental side of this one because of its Bitcoin holding. Let's see. Yeah, airlines still not ready, digesting. What's going to happen this morning? I think KMDA looks really good. Yeah, and lastly, I have some on here that are definitely have not triggered, like HOG. RFP, I think, is a buy on a pullback. I just did a report on this for Edge clients yesterday that I've been working on for the past few days, but I'll give you the long and the short of it. I don't think lumber is, definitely was a time trade to fall on Monday with that WHO article about US trade tariffs being unfair, but big picture, that's just not going to come down very much. I know it's ridiculously high when it tagged 850, but I still think lumber prices are going to stay elevated and bid for a few years. So the long story short is housing will stay bid despite permanent job losses and economic drama. I still think the whole thesis of folks that are stock owners have huge gains and they are transitioning from paper to things. I've written about this over the past few months. Demographics, work from home, input costs, inflation. I think it's going to be ballast to all the negative stuff. So putting those thoughts together in more detail, let's say for institutional research side, which isn't so interesting to retail side, we kind of do this chase and swing stuff in the room, and I'll post my thoughts, but it's kind of more of a deep dive on lumber, housing, and housing related stocks like RFP, which I absolutely think from a fundamental standpoint also are good timing. So There's that. But today I think KMDA is going to get a little help here. BABA got an upgrade. So those are continuation plays, long story short, that I think will work well. Fastly, back up to that 90, 91 area. Waiting for AZN also to trigger. IWM at that 153.50 support. So remember when it used to be 145? Remember we gapped up to 145 and said that has to hold, exclamation point. It did, right? And then it moved higher into exactly price target, the Keltner channel, got back in. This is where it has to stabilize. Below is bearish, above is bullish, right? So lots of room above. So right now it's looking pretty good. IYT is looking pretty good. Diamond's looking pretty good. So why wouldn't small caps be looking pretty good? SMAR's already up pre-market. This looks very good. So today I think the continuation plays I've already identified, plus the ones that haven't quite triggered yet, like a go-go yesterday just triggered all of a sudden. Boom. I think that's going to happen to SMAR. Yeah. Microsoft's the next one to blow. 8,000 weekly $510 calls came in for Netflix. It's pretty much, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but when you have a melt up, it's shooting fish in a barrel. If you really, really just want to make money, don't listen to my voice, just go right into the stocks that are absolutely pulling higher into the strikes of large size. That's it. That's all I have to do. That's just what we have right now. Netflix needs to clear 506. Amazon needs to stay above 33.20. Apple is doing what Apple does, which is pulling higher into potentially 529. Tesla has the $2,500 strikes that just came in of size. Facebook, $400 strikes. They weren't as big, you know, a few million collectively. Roku got an upgrade and they're chasing that. Although it really needs to get above 165 to be trend bullish. Like I like it. It's one of my top, 25 list for second half, right? So remember my second half list? This stuff right here I did on June 1st. No, July. When was June 30th? July 3rd. Close enough. Roku, Netflix, Gilead. Okay, that didn't work. KMDA sure as heck did. NVTA, pins, yes. RAD, okay, didn't work. Spotify sure did. Square, Zoom, yep. Zynga hasn't launched yet. BJ, yes it did. Chewy hasn't really launched yet. Crowd, yep. Dropbox hasn't launched yet. Fitch sure did. KHC hasn't launched yet. You can FedEx, oh my God, did that launch? Some of the GME hasn't launched yet. GoGo, yep, it is. So I still GNRC doubled. I mean, stupidly, what happened? Bitcoin, gold and silver. So this is second half stuff, and there's just no question that Roku's on that list, but it needs to get above 165 really to clear this junk. But that's a really nice start. How many months have we been here? Not easy. One little city upgrade is not going to do it. Yeah, your SPWR. Yep. So my DKNG digesting right at the trend line on a weekly. SBUX above 80, digesting beautifully, but look where it tags right here on that Bollinger Band. GPS above 16 is just, easy, but now it's tagged the 100 week. So all of these have come into resistance. NEO, to put this bluntly, there ain't none. BABA, you see any? No. CRWD is, of course, security theme. I love that chart pattern, just like I did in SMAR. Love that chart pattern. SPWR. Love. So I still think real yields can rise. I still think the long end can rise. I know, I need more time to think about this announcement this morning too. So I wrote this yesterday because I found these great charts, right? I was reading, as I do often, you know, Fed has never sustainably hit its target of 2%. We know that's just all, you know, mirrors, right? So I'm looking at this going, yeah, snowball's chance. The market's going to do it for them. Inflation moved up very quickly after this, you know, fall from grace, and it's still moving up, core CPI. Okay. So we got a speech on Thursday on inflation, and keep in mind we have not hit anywhere close on a 10-year annualized basis since 2014. So they're trying to stoke inflation. Okay, will this new inflation framework consist of forward guidance, which basically, you know, I thought would be a few years out, or repricing of the long end? I'm just trying to work this out too, but TLT is fading, and on a chart basis I still can see, believe it or not, 160. Remember I mentioned this pattern, 160 this week, which would be like, right? And look at TNX. This is exactly the pattern I saw too. Granted, I was 2 weeks early, but this is absolutely the pattern I saw. Look at this. Look at this 10 and 21. This is going higher, Craig. I think the long end is getting repriced. First things first. My yield pop rate spike thesis is absolutely in play. I don't think there's any stopping it now. I know that the only thing I have been waiting for to really make a call that we're going to get soon, next, I would say 3 weeks, tech will top out and start to reverse.